Hey everyone, it's caffeine scientist, author, and speaker, Green-Eyed Guide. In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about clean energy drinks. What does that even mean? Do they exist? What do they look like? And if you do want a quote-unquote clean energy drink, what should you look for? Whether it's on the label, in the ingredients list, what should that mean to you? And is that something that you should consider if you do like energy drinks? All right, so let's get started. So clean energy drinks, what does that even mean? Well, first of all, it's interesting to have the expression a clean energy drink, because if you consider a Venn diagram of people that want an energy drink and people that want something that's clean, those Venn diagrams, those circles don't really overlap. That's not a whole lot of people. But what's interesting is that in a survey done by the International Food Information Council, 64% of Americans said they try to choose foods made with clean ingredients. When asked to define what quote-unquote clean meant, they said nothing artificial or synthetic. They said organic. They said fresh. They said something they know is nutritious. And they said natural. So that just gives you an idea that the word clean doesn't necessarily mean the same thing to everyone. But again, let's look at what would a clean energy drink look like. Now, I should mention that taste is the number one buying decision. So even though a lot of people say they buy things based on clean ingredients, as I mentioned, that Venn diagram between people that want energy drinks and people that want something clean doesn't really overlap a whole lot. In a survey done in 2016, published in the British Medical Journal, they found that taste was the number one decision that drove people to pick the energy drinks they did. Not necessarily the ingredients, not even how energized it made them feel. Taste was the number one driving factor behind what made people buy what they did. Now, I'm not going to taste energy drinks here on this channel. Oh, it's a long story why I don't do that, but I don't. So instead, we're just going to skip to the labels and I'll show you what to look for if you're trying to find a clean energy drink. I picked 3 specific examples. Of course, when I first published this book back in 2010, and when I first started studying energy drinks back in 2003, I mean early 2000s, energy drinks have evolved considerably. Usually when people hear or think of energy drinks, they think of the stereotypes, but energy drinks have evolved, and so there's a huge variety on the market. That said, the drinks that I picked today were just based on what I had lying around. This is by no means a comprehensive representation of the variety of energy drinks or even variety of quote-unquote clean energy drinks that you might have available to you, whether it's Amazon or GMC or whatever. But I picked these 3 because it's what I had lying around. So let's look at these 3 different examples. And the big question I want to ask is, does clean necessarily mean that it's healthy? So let's look at this first one here. So this is Marquis Super Berry. They have yerba mate, green coffee, and green tea. They're certified organic. So for the people that associated being clean with being organic, check. This drink, let's see, it has natural sources of caffeine. It has no artificial flavors nor sweeteners. Check for that box, that definition. And the sources of caffeine are all organic. Check. Now, a lot of people associate these 3 things, yerba mate, green coffee, and green tea, as quote-unquote something they know is nutritious. Maybe not necessarily quote-unquote fresh, but I feel like the people that associate being natural, being organic, being nutritious with being quote-unquote clean, this is something that might appeal to them. So if that's how you define clean, then this drink might work for you. I like that this drink has only 100 milligrams of organic caffeine, because that's a nice low amount. That's an amount you can drink every single day without having to worry about building a tolerance, diuretic effects, or sabotaging your sleep. The total amount of caffeine is listed here. There's no crazy amounts of B vitamins, which is nice. That's the second thing to look out for. Caffeine content is number 1. Crazy high amounts of B vitamins is number 2. And sugar is number 3. This has 9 grams of carbohydrates, but actually 0 grams of sugar. That sugar is all coming from a natural sweetener. So again, check, check, check. I feel like this meets the definition of clean, and in this case, it also meets the definition of healthy. Let's look at another example. Now, so the words clean are giant on this can because they want you to think that immediately, right? This is a psychological trick. They are priming your subconscious to think that this is clean. But is it really clean? And also, is it really healthy? Well, the caffeine comes from a natural source, so check if that's how you define clean. But this is a little bit high for a caffeine content. 160 milligrams is something that's going to be too much for the 16 to 18-year-old group. And it's also going to be a little high to have every single day. Usually 100 to 200 milligrams, that's fine. You don't want to get above 200 milligrams because that's more likely to build a tolerance to give you diuretic effects to sabotage your sleep. So it's nice, it's better if the caffeine content is closer to 100 milligrams. That makes it easier for you to moderate how much caffeine you're drinking. Again, there's no artificial flavors nor sweeteners, check, check, check. Everything is organic, check, check, check. And the sugars are still low, only 8 grams of sugar. So again, I would consider this one clean, and I would consider this one healthy, sure. Let's look at a third example. All right, so again, we've got organic, check, if that's what clean means to you. No artificial flavors nor sweeteners, check, check, check. Everything's organic, everything's natural. Okay, so if that's what clean means to you, that's fine, but this has 27 grams of sugar. That is almost your full day's dose of sugar. So even though this drink might technically be considered clean based on its natural ingredients, I wouldn't necessarily consider this healthy. Furthermore, again, this has, it's in teeny print here, but this has 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is a bit much to have every single day. The more caffeine you have, the more likely you are to build a tolerance to give yourself diuretic effects to sabotage your sleep. So you want to stay closer to 100 milligrams and save these higher amounts of caffeine for your more stressed and sleep deprived days, your fatigue level 3. So there you go. There are 3 different examples of how energy drinks might technically be clean, and in some cases how clean may not necessarily be the same thing as healthy. If you would like to see more energy drinks, whether they're quote unquote clean or not, I encourage you to check out my free guide, the Energy Drink Report Card. You can get that at greeneyedguide.com/freebies. That's the Energy Drink Report Card. It has a list of the top selling coffees, teas, and energy drinks, and it rates them on a scale from green, you can have it every day, to red, avoid this at all costs. So go check that out. That's greeneyedguide.com/freebies. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care.